Welcome to the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor show.
To go to another level, you must try to learn and hear something new. So make a change today. So don't procrastinate and see your business grow and change. So check out Drastic Results, yeah, with Tony Harris Taylor. Tony Harris Taylor. Drastic Results, oh yeah, with Tony Harris Taylor. Yeah, yeah.
I just love my theme song. Good morning, everybody. This is Tony Harris Taylor with the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor show. And I'm just excited to have you here. I just was a guest on somebody else's show, and I had to click off of there and come over here because I want to be consistent. You know, in marketing, we preach consistency. Consistency is everything. And I have to practice what I preach. And so I've been grateful to be consistent with this show since February 1st. And so I'm super excited. And thank you for joining us, whether you're joining us live or on replay. Give me a hashtag replay because I do go back and look at the comments. And speaking of comments, if you want to give a comment, by all means, post it right there. If I don't see it live, because sometimes I don't, you have to go through some gyrations, go to StreamYard's Facebook page and register for me to see your comments. So if I don't see them live, I will go back and respond to them after the fact. So today we're going to talk to one of my NIA clients, Mr. Glenn Walker. Before I get into Glenn and his story, I want to invite you all to join me for the Profitable Events for Drastic Results Conference. Profitable Events for Drastic Results. You know, I did my first event in 2017. In 2016, someone in my network, she did an event, and it was all scheduled and ready to go. And the hotel canceled the event the day before. And she had to cancel flights. People are on the plane when they got notification. It ruined her reputation. And I was just like, what in the world happened? Well, I don't want that to happen to you. And it scared me so much, I didn't want to do events. I knew that events was the right way to attract my ideal clients. I knew that, but I was afraid. I didn't want something like that to happen to me. And so I decided to put off doing events. Then I got another coach. I got my own coach, and she convinced me to do my first event. And my first event was very small. It was called Doing Business in Your PJs. And in fact, one of the attendees just reached out to me from 2017. You never lose those connections. Anyway, I did my first event. I got sponsors, so I never came out of pocket, and I made money, sold coaching programs. Fast forward to 2021, I had the Viral Networking Conference. That was my 5th event. And the Viral Networking Conference was beyond successful. I got over $10,000 in sponsorships and sold over $100,000 in coaching. So if you are somewhere between a small event and making money and a large event and making $100,000, you need to come to Profitable Events for Drastic Results. $97 for general admission. VIP is $247. And by the way, you always want to play at a higher level, because when you register for $247, you're going to be with other people who are playing at that level. And don't you want to be at your next level? So it's all virtual, April 29th and 30th. Look at your calendar, clear it, and register today for Profitable Events for Drastic Results. Okay, so today we're going to talk to Mr. Glenn Walker. Glenn and I share similar backgrounds. I don't know if you know, I don't talk about it a ton, but I spent 14 years in financial services as a financial professional. Went from training, sweet talk. In fact, that's where drastic, one of the places drastic came from. Because I was sweet talked into moving from Houston to Florida to become a financial advisor. You heard me say sweet talked. I get there and everything I was promised did not exist for me. I didn't have any financial background. I didn't have any sales background. I didn't know anything about the stock market. I took them at their word, took the drastic step, moved to Florida, and ended up driving 36,000 miles my first year to make it happen. So drastic. It's uncomfortable to put yourself in situations you don't really know the outcome. And so we're going to talk to Glenn about where he is today, why you should talk to him about your financial future. And he's just a really cool guy. So I'm going to introduce to you my business son. He calls me his business mom, Mr. Glenn Walker. Come on over, honey.
Hey, Tony, how are you?
Thank you, Glenn. And Glenn is amazing. I met you a year ago.
Yes.
In fact, you just had your 1-year anniversary.
High five to that. Hey,
Right,
1
you're
year
still in business.
I know, and I'm still alive.
Right. It didn't kill you.
No, it did.
It almost did a couple times, trust me. But that's the point. You have to keep pushing when it gets hard.
Yes.
So in your own words, tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Awesome. So I am a father. I'm a husband. I have 2 beautiful babies. I have one on the way, so my wife can call me any second now and say, "Hey, I need you to get home."
Wait till after the interview.
Yeah,
Don't call us now.
I know. So yeah, so I love my family. That's my why. That is truly my why. But I do get the privilege of being a financial professional, and we can talk more about that. But that is truly, I believe, my God's calling.
I love that.
Yes,
I
yes.
love that. And so he is a young father. I admire the husband and dad he is. He ain't perfect. Nobody is. But he loves his family. And that's one of the reasons I'm so attracted to Glenn. And I even referred him to my husband when my husband left his job and needed to move his 401k. So that's how much I love you. The other reason I love him is because he's got a giving spirit. And when he joined NIA, he said, what was your motto?
Do something every day for NIA.
Do something every
Yes,
day for
yes.
NIA. And that just and so that made me want to do something every day for him as well. But he really is like the business son. So he's like, well, I didn't get that.
Yeah, I'm the middle child too, so that's why.
In real life, he said he got it
Oh,
bad.
man.
The syndrome. Look up middle child syndrome. His picture's right there, Lena.
Right there.
Right there. And Lena is his mom, and she is my accountant and bookkeeper for 2022. She may fire me at the end of this year, but I chose her to work with as well.
Awesome.
And they are also in this office. When he met me, he was
Mhm.
home based, and he said, I want to look at an office. My mom and I want to share space.
Mhm.
He came up here, fell in love with it.
Yes,
And now
yes.
he's also so don't
Yeah.
associate with me if you don't want to be drastic.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that true?
That is true. That is true. I definitely got drastic this year, which I love it. I love it. You know?
And he has sat on the comfy couch more than once and said,
Mhm.
Tony, what am I doing? Right. So let's talk
mental.
about
It's mental. But yeah, it's all mental. But but go ahead.
I was going to say the ups and downs of entrepreneurship.
All right. Yeah, that's so true. So, okay. So I'll start with this. You know, when you have a job, I came from a job working at a bank for the past 5 years. And, having that consistent income, that, every 2 weeks you got something coming in.
That's right.
Right. But then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have that anymore. But at the same time, what I did not realize is that when you take away that consistency, you open the doors up for so much more. You have so much more blessing.
He made a post recently that said something like, I quit my job because I didn't want to work 40 hours a week.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And
yes.
now-
And now I work like 60 hours a week on average, My wife is like, when you coming home? So when I had a job, I would be home consistently, but now I'm like, okay, I may start at 8 o'clock in the morning and end at 8 o'clock at night. It's that it's real. But, not to kind of talk about the downsides of it, but, you still have that freedom of, nobody's telling me what to do, or when to wake up or when to take my lunch or anything like that. And let's talk about the income though, Tony. Like that is that
you
is
just had
that
your best month.
yes.
So let's talk about income.
Let's do it.
What
So
you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the possibilities. One thing that stood out to me is that opportunity is always better than certainty. I would rather take an opportunity than have certainty, because when you're certain to stay within this parameter, within this box. But when you have opportunities are endless. And that's how our income is. It's endless.
It is.
I showed you last week that, I get paid from multiple streams of income
Yes.
versus just one stream of income. And that's very dangerous, when you have one stream of income and it's like all your eggs are in one basket. But now I get paid from 5 different sources
and increasing.
And increasing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So Glenn is a holistic financial professional, and he loves working with young families, highly professional mom and dad, and then with kids, because he is such a family man. So let's talk a little bit more about what the needs, without getting specific, because we don't want the compliance gods coming after us, but which is why I left the business. But anyway, without getting specific, what are some of the needs of a young family when it comes to financial services?
Gotcha. So I look at it like this, Tony. It's kind of like being a consultant, or a counselor is a better word, because money is very emotional.
Sure.
So sometimes, like in marriage, we have marriage counselors. We have personal counselors. I think we also need a money counselor too, because, sometimes when we're in it and that's our money, we get very emotional to it, and we don't make the necessary moves that we need to make for our money to grow, or for us to be set up successfully in the future. So I know that it's very important to have that third party person that's going to come in, that can be objective in that situation, and not somebody that's in the situation like, oh, I can't do that because I work so hard for that money. And I get it. You work hard for your money, but at the same time, you need your money to work hard for you too. And I'm actually going to speak to my college today, actually. And really, Tony, a lot of young professionals, when they graduate, they have student loan debt, and then they want to get married, so they
go in debt.
In debt, right, for the wedding, and then they buy a house. Then they got to have a car. They're starting to have kids, they have a car. And, so a lot of times when young professionals start making money, they quickly start to reach that cap financially. So it's like, okay, let's say we make $50,000 a year. We're going to quickly hit that cap very quickly. So that's why working with a financial professional, we can come in and look at, okay, what do we need to do? Sometimes it's plastic surgery. And Dave Ramsey calls it those credit cards. We got to cut up those credit cards sometimes. And,
plastic surgery.
Yes. We got to do that. And just really kind of get them on a budget, because a lot of times what I realize too is that we don't have a budget. We don't tell our money what to do or where to go. It's just kind of like money in, money out, and that's the way we live.
Okay.
And,
you might be talking to somebody I know. Don't.
No. Hey.
So I want to hear about your personal story.
For sure.
You and I have had lots of great conversations about your history, your background. Yeah. So you have experienced death of a Black man too soon.
Yeah.
Like I have, two-time widow. Black men, let me talk to y'all for a minute. Get you some life insurance when you're this age.
Yes.
Because when you get in your 50s, unfortunately, it's just the fact, Black men don't live long. And you leave us women behind to carry the burden. And it's not right. It's wrong. And you got multiple wives, ex-wives, and kids, and it's a battle that you leave behind. So tell us your personal story.
For sure. So, and I do want to touch on that too. So on average, women will outlive men about 30 years. Okay. And then also, I'm a believer too. So the Bible does tell us that, hey, a good man leaves inheritance for his children's children. So I wanted to touch on that. And, 2 stories I want to share with you too, Tony. One is about my dad. So originally I'm from Philadelphia. My parents moved down here. They were in oil and gas. and doing very well for themselves. Nice home, pool in the backyard, 2-story house. It was just the American dream, I believe. And growing up, I'm so young and impressionable. I'm like, man, like this is awesome. My life is awesome. But as I got older, my parents were smokers. So my dad, unfortunately, got lung cancer, and he held on, for quite some time, but he was declining. And 2 days after I graduated high school, he passed away.
Oh, man.
So a very pivotal moment in my life, my dad passed away, and that was an eye opener for me, because all of the bills, all of the debt, all of that pressure fell on my mom, and she did the best she could. Like my mom was always the breadwinner of our home. But when you lose a spouse after 20 plus years of marriage, and not being prepared at that point, that really it affected her. But then also it affected me, because I was at that moment I was like, going off to college, trying to start my life, and I thought that I was going to rise on the shoulders of my mom and dad, which I ultimately will and have. But at the same time, when you don't have that foundation, set, it really throws everything out the window. So basically, long story short, my mom, we end up selling the house that I grew up in, and all that equity that they built in over 20 plus years in that home, all that was gone. So selling the house, moving into an apartment, so we downsized, and it just really showed me that financial planning is needed. Because if somebody was there for my family when they needed it the most, our lives would have been completely different.
And what's interesting is, by law, we have to protect our house with insurance. We have to protect our cars with insurance, but we don't, by law, have to protect our lives.
Right.
And it's just sad. The stories I personally know, everybody here has seen GoFundMe's. That's not a plan.
No, it's not.
GoFundMe is not a plan. And sorry, my inside voice came out.
But that's how passionate we are, though.
I know.
That's like when you actually experience it and you go through it, you're like, oh my gosh, your life changes.
Your life changes.
And also, Tony, not just talk about
drastically, by the way,
and not in a bad drastic,
in a bad drastic, right?
But then also, let's say somebody gets injured, right? You were in an accident.
No, I spent 10 days in a coma. Woke up with a stomach ache. Fine the day before. Woke up with a stomach ache. Spent 10 days in a coma. Yeah, if you can't work,
then what happens after that? You also, life insurance is important too, but disability too, because a lot of times before we pass away, we're sometimes in a hospital, or on hospice. So if we're not able to work or provide for our family, your income automatically stops.
Yes.
But the bills keep coming in.
Yes. And the bills do not stop.
They do not stop. So it's important to also have that disability insurance as well, as a foundational piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Glenn looks at the holistic picture and sets you up for success. I'm going to say one more thing about life insurance, and then we're going to move on from that. It's the vehicle that the rich use to be tax-free.
It is, because that's tax-free income.
It's tax
You're not
free, not after death. The cash value that's inside the policy that you can use if you become disabled or is tax free. And they keep that from the everyday people because they want to keep those laws on the books so they can keep using them. Y'all, talk to Glenn and get your plan in place. Now, you said you had 2 stories.
I did. And I was going to tell you this about my entrepreneurship story. So before I became an entrepreneur, me and my wife, we had to pay off $30,000 in debt, right? So that's also another thing that hinders people. Even if you're still alive, right? You're making money, but if all your money is going towards debt payments, you're not living.
Right.
You're just living to pay debt.
Right.
So I show my clients as well how to, get out of debt faster too. And that's very important.
That is very important. You can't build a foundation of financial independence.
And the Bible also says that the
borrower.
Are you
quoting the Bible?
I'm not quoting it to you, but like honestly, the foundational principles in the Bible are like universal, right?
Absolutely.
So it says that the borrower is slave to the lender.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So like even if we have credit card debts and all those other things like that, you're enslaving yourself. You're enslaving your money to someone else and getting them richer.
And that's the other thing about that is it enslaves you to stay on a job when you really should be living your
it
dream.
does. No, for real.
For real.
Yeah, because if I had, all that debt, I couldn't. I was scared to leave my job, and if, it would be even more scary if I had all that baggage behind me that I had to pay for.
So Caitlin Penny, who you know.
Yes.
Yes, she made a great comment. She said, "Hey, Caitlin," she said her husband and I are barely 30 and they both have life insurance.
Awesome.
Right?
Awesome.
So that's the other thing. Y'all will set it up and then cancel it. Not Caitlin, but other people will cancel it when, something else happens. Find another way. Keep your life insurance in force.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Okay. So you've got your personal story of your dad passing away too soon.
Yes.
And you've got your personal story of getting out of debt.
Yes.
How does someone just start? Like a lot of times people think when they need a financial professional, it's a guy have a lot of money, $50,000.
Yeah. So how do you start? That's actually a really good question. I'm still working on that answer, to be honest with you. Besides coming to me, right? Besides coming to me, but like outside of me, right? Like where would somebody go who doesn't know me, maybe? Because if they go to the banks aren't really doing anything. And it's most advisors just really, if you cut an advisor open, typically they talk about investments or some talk about insurance. Very rarely do they talk about both. So, Tony, like it's really hard for people to trust people out there. And I think that it's hard to find somebody that will give a comprehensive financial overview of somebody's situation, without, having ulterior motive.
Do they have to have a minimum, a dollar amount to work?
There's no minimum. No. No, I do not do minimums because, like I said, I wanted to help people that need it. When I worked at the bank, I was able to help people that could afford it, but now I can help people that want it, because there's a difference between needing it. You can need it, but not want it or take advantage of it. But people that want it, that's the people I'm looking for.
Okay.
People that want to make a change.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned you and your wife got out of $30,000 in debt, which is very impressive as a young family because you got a house and you got furniture and all that stuff.
Yes.
So what's the mindset needed to get out of debt?
To get out of debt and to build wealth, you gotta be disciplined. Like I'm being honest with you. That is probably one of the hardest things that most people don't tell us, is that you have to be disciplined. You have to be focused on it. And then as well, you kind of just got to delay gratification too. You can't always go on the trips that you want to, the vacations and all that, but, delay gratification sometimes.
That's the problem. We don't want to delay gratification.
Tough.
There's a balance to it,
yes,
because you gotta have a balance. You can't not work, pay bills, and not celebrate life as well. So there is definitely a balance.
And really it's about having a strategy too, because all financial planning is just implementing a strategy. Because we have all these products, and I'm not a product pusher. I don't want to push products on people, but strategies, so that way you can actually implement that strategy. And once you implement the strategy, you got to be disciplined to execute it all the way to the end.
Are you licensed in other states?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, California, Florida, Delaware, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
all over. I can get licensed anywhere, if we have clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So on that note, NIA is growing.
Yes.
So tell us about your experience of being an NIA member.
Awesome. Okay. NIA has honestly helped me in my first year of business. It's helped me with the relationships that I built. NIA is all about the relationships, and that's really how business is built. It's through relationships. It's not by selling products. I'm not trying to be an NIA and sell all these products and be like, oh, well, I sold everybody NIA. No, it's about building relationships, because sometimes it might not be that person in NIA. It might be their friend or their friend's friend. So it's about who you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's about who you know at NIA.
So he's done a great job of building connections, building relationships, and partnerships. So he has a couple key partnerships. And let me say this. when it comes to networking, you don't need a partnership with everybody. You just need a couple of key partnerships that they know they can trust you for good referrals and you can trust them for great referrals. So I just want to publicly thank you for trusting me. You were like brand new. You just quit your job when you met me.
I did.
And the other thing is he was trying to go to another group and they didn't have a spot for him. And he said, they didn't have a spot for me. So I Googled you and I found you.
I did.
And I think it was been life-changing.
It has. It truly has. Tony, just being around you and seeing all that you're doing and how you take your business to the next level, like that's what it's all about. And I knew 100% that in order for me to be successful, I had to find somebody that's going to help, groom me, and that could put me in a village, because as an entrepreneur, we can't be islands. We cannot do it on our own. And, oh man, even though as much as we want to, we think that we're like, we know it all, we can do it all. No, you have to be around somebody that can help you grow your business.
Absolutely.
Yes. And that's why literally, you mentioned consistency earlier in your promo. Like when I got in NIA, I'm like, I gotta be consistent. I gotta do it.
Have been.
Yes.
I've been proud to be your business mom this year and see your growth. And when you announced to me you had your best month financially last month, I'm just so proud of you.
Thank you.
Because I know you done sat on, he done reclined in his couch more than once. And said,
yes. Because business is all mental. Like it is so much mental. You gotta have that mental toughness. And like sometimes I'm building that. I'm truly building that because especially in financial services, you have, like you even said it last week, you have either feast or famine.
Yes.
And sometimes if you're not doing the things that you need to do, like your business is going to tank.
Absolutely.
But you got to stay consistent. And also you got to know that it can always turn around.
And it will always turn around. When you are just at the point when you're about to quit, as long as you keep showing up and serving other people, it will turn around. It's a universal law.
Yes.
You can't keep showing up and nothing happens. So show up, help somebody else while you're in the dumps, because when you are doing well, you'll be able to help somebody else in return.
You are absolutely. And I like the analogy too. I made this up when I've gone through my rough times. Yesterday was kind of like, rainy here and all that stuff like that. When you break through all those clouds, it's all nothing but sun. Sometimes we just got to break through. We got to keep going, and we'll break through on the other side.
Absolutely. I love that. I think you heard that from me.
I think I did. I heard it from somebody, but I stole it, apparently.
There's nothing new under the sun.
There is not at all.
Well, Glenn, I love you. I thank you. And thanks for taking care of my husband.
You're welcome.
And he really loves you as well.
I love him.
And
I love you.
It's been a life-changing year all around.
It has.
So I'm excited. We got a new baby coming. What's her name?
Her name's going to be Chloe. Chloe Walker.
Chloe Walker to go with Lily.
Lillian, Glenn, and Chloe.
All right. They're a beautiful family. Is that it?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. I don't know.
All right, Bianca.
Oh my God.
So I know it's a lot having a young family, but
is.
you guys, and I love the partnership you and your wife show. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So Glenn is available. Let me give you his contact information so you can follow up with Glenn. You can call him, text him, send him an email. He would love to just talk to you. And he's a connector as well.
Absolutely.
So even if you're not ready today to do your financial planning, he knows he has a big network now. And so he can introduce you to people, places, and things that can change your life.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. So this is Tony Harris Taylor saying take a drastic step today for a fantastic tomorrow. Call Glenn. He's a great guy and he'll take care of you. Talk to you soon. Bye. Welcome to the Drastic Results with Tony Harris Taylor show.
To go to another level, you must try to learn and hear something new. So make